Okay, a little bit today about, well, a continuation really of when we talked about finding the right niche, because now we're just going to do a few moments on what is a buyer's market, or how do you, more importantly, how do you find out if your topic or niche is a buyer's market. Now, I've repeated this in coaching programs before, and there's no need for me to change it. It's exactly the same method. And that is that I would look at, when you found the niche you want to work in, and why, be it something you're interested in, like a hobby or an interest, and you then have to decide, of course, that, is there enough things to sell in it? So the way I do this, or the way I would recommend people do it, you're safe in the evergreen niches. Evergreen niches being weight loss, investment, make money, hobbies, usually sort of arts and crafts and things like that, sport like golf and things where people spend huge amounts of money on their interests, and it goes on and on. Weight loss, I don't know if I mentioned that already, but building muscles. If you think about those things rather than cures and preventions, then you are on the right track. There's many more evergreen niches, but you'll know most of them, but there's always a way to dig down deeper in them and find a really targeted market. There's always lots to sell there, and there are hungry buyers out there, and that's what you need. But say your niche is a little unusual, or you're just not sure. Your chosen subject is something that's maybe outside of those things. Well, if you go into any newsagent, the type that sell, any newsagent, but the type that sell shelves and shelves of magazines and books and things, if you can find a magazine, even just one, on your topic, then you're in a buyer's niche, because publishing companies never ever get this wrong. They do all their research. They will not invest time and effort and money into a magazine if the market's not there for it. So that's almost guaranteed, and of course a magazine's a great way of finding more information out about the very topic that you want to write about or sell in. Another thing to do is look at dummies books. There's hundreds and thousands of them now, and they too will only do it in a market that's pretty much a buyer's market. There might be some exceptions, but you see the dummies for guitar playing and all that sort of stuff. Well, there's a buyer's market there, quite clearly. But the other thing you've got to look at, because this is all well and good, because you can find yourself that there's an interest in something there, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee that it's a buyer's market. There's a very good chance if there's a magazine on it, then that you're in a place where there are people hungry for information. But now you've got to make sure that there are products that you can promote. An example of something that isn't a product that you can promote is diabetes. It's a niche that's full of hungry people. There are people joining it every week wanting to know more about diabetes, how it's going to affect them, how they can live with it, how they can cure it, which they can't. I'm diabetic myself. I know a lot about diabetes. In fact, I did want to market in diabetes myself once. I run a support group as it is, but I run a support group with a member in here, actually, who's actually in this coaching. But there's no real money in diabetes, and the reason is because although they're hungry for information, the products that they buy on a regular basis are basically given by the drugs companies and things for free, because they want to tie you into their machinery, the drug testing stuff. Strips that go into drug testing machines are very expensive, and you have to buy them normally, they make profit from them, put it that way, so they'll give you the machine for free. And it's the same with most diabetic products. There's not a great market to buy things in. Now, you could write a book on diabetes and sell it, but a $10 or a $20 book or whatever you want to charge is not going to make you a fortune. Yes, you can sell $10 products all day long and make money, but what you've got to look at is that you haven't got much else to sell to them afterwards. And arguably you could write a course on diabetic management, and that might have more perceived value being a course, so that could be in a back-end product. But after that, you're finished with that subscriber base. There's not much else just selling the same things over and over and over again, unless you're have no moral about you and you try and sell them some silly cure which doesn't exist, and I wouldn't recommend that. Now, if you look at something like golf, again, a massive niche that you'd have to burrow down into a little bit to find a specific problem. But look at the products that you've got to sell. Not do golfers spend lots of money on their hobby, but they also, on their interest, on the sport or whatever, they have all the different clubs that are coming out all the time. They try and buy the game all the time. They've got all the equipment that goes with it. You've got green fee offers from different clubs. You've got holidays. You've got courses. You've got video courses to back it up. I mean, if you, for argument's sake, if you sold, here's a quick thing about sales funnels. We'll go into that later on, but this is a prime example. If you can't put a sales funnel together from a niche, you really haven't got a proper buyer's market. You need high-end products to be able to sell behind lower-end products, and that's the way it is. I mean, it's not that you can't sell things; it's just the fact that you've got to work a lot harder and sell a lot more of, a lower-end product. The real money is in the sort of the next product in line, and even the next one afterwards. But if you were a golfer and you put together, you want to build a subscriber base, you were interested in golf, so you decided to target something like driving, and you said, this is all top of my head, so 5 surefire ways to make you drive the ball further than your friends, or something like that, kind of on those lines. And you went off and find five ways in which the average person can hit the ball further. Put that together in a little package. There's your front end thing that could be given away to build a list, if not sold. And I've just been attacked by a wasp again, which seems regular when I'm making these videos, and I am allergic to them. Go away. And so, then you could easily have an upsell, which would be a video course on how to do exactly that. Now you see you've got yourself, say, a free entry or a $10 entry, and then you've got a $47 product or a $97 product behind it, and perhaps the third offer might be a holiday somewhere or something like that you've affiliated yourself to a golfing holiday sort of company or something, which might cost a lot more money and you might make a much higher percentage. So there's all these things, and sometimes you can refer yourself to a reoccurring income with membership sites and things like that. So that's what you're looking for, basically. And the other ways of doing that, of course, is to nip over to places like Amazon and ClickBank and see if there are other products. If Amazon has loads of products on a particular niche for sale, then again, you've got a good chance of developing this into a money-making site or a money-making sales funnel. And ClickBank's the same. ClickBank has its negatives and its positives, but you can actually see if there's some decent sort of products out there on this. And quite often it's looking away, looking at your hobbies. Think about sort of things like fishing, fly fishing, for example. How easy would it be to attract an interest in something that's probably the #1 sport in the UK, I think, at the moment. I think there are more fishermen than there is anything else, any other sport. Fly fishing, you've narrowed it into fly fishing. So now you can give something away. It's easy to create something of value, of interest in fly fishing, or you could even start off with a small key product, but a book or something on fly fishing. And then you can have a video series, very easily put together, and if not put together with some friends or yourself, then quite clearly there will be things on ClickBank like that you could sell. And it goes on and on and on. Deep sea fishing, exactly the same. And of course there are a multitude of holidays and things that can be sold, and that's what you're looking for, being able to create a sales funnel. And so that becomes a buyer's market. If you can't create a sales funnel, it's not a great buyer's market. Doesn't mean to say that, I'll give you an exception to that slightly. I suppose arts and crafts, if you were not looking to go down the route of trying to create this a direct sales funnel off a squeeze page or something, landing page, you could build an authority blog on arts and crafts and sell a multitude of lots of smaller items without something being sold behind it. And a mailing list would just be constantly emailed, giving them tips and things, but also promoting other things in arts and craft. It's a bit of a shotgun approach. I bet there are people, well, I know there are people making money that way, but it's not what I would recommend. And of course, if you narrow the arts and crafts down to one, you're unlikely to create that sales funnel. But there is still money to be made in these things. I think they are more multiple site things and making small amounts of money off each one, but there's a lot of work there. But buyer's market is very important. To ignore that is to just be down, floating down the river without the proverbial paddle, So bears thinking about, but stick to evergreen markets and burrow into them a little bit. Quick example of that is going back to the golf. That would be doing that, taking out golf as a big umbrella. So you're competing with the big boys for keywords and things like that. But advertising is expensive. But if you just narrow it down, you can narrow it right the way down. If you think about it, like putting, that's a whole niche all on its own. And then you've got left-handed putters. There's loads and loads, thousands of left-handed people out there playing golf. So you can narrow these things down and still be absorbed into a buyer's market. As long as that evergreen buyer's market's big enough, you can burrow down smaller and still be in a buyer's market. And that's the key. And these people are easier to get to, of course. So anyway, it's just a short video today. It's 11 minutes. Actually, 11 minutes. We'll back this up with other videos, but I think I'll leave that one with you today. It's just worth thinking about that way anyway, if you weren't already. I'll see you next time.